I'm Alina Dochu. My topic of presentation is the impact of the Māori language revitalization on the Crimean Tatar language. I will start with the citation of the known linguist on endangered languages, Joshua Fishman. The recent well-justified alarm that many thousands of languages, a very high proportion indeed of all those now in existence, are dying, and that thousands more are destined to die out during the first half of this century. What the smaller and weaker languages and peoples and cultures of the world need are not generalized prediction of dire and even terminal illnesses, but rather the development of therapeutic understandings and approaches that can be adjusted so as to tackle essentially the same illness in patient after patient. So this linguist looks at the revitalization of indigenous languages like treatment from illness, and in this association you should find approach so as to the treatment from this illness. We will talk about the lessons of Maori language revitalization to the Crimean Tatar language. Crimean Tatar is a Turkic language spoken in the Crimea and Crimean Tatar diasporas, mainly in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, and in small communities of United States and Canada. Crimean Tatars were formed on the territory of Crimea, uniting Cumans and Kipchaks and Gulf Greeks, Italian, Bulgars, Hazars, Pechenegs, Tauri, Scythians, Sarmatians, Alans. The Crimean Tatar language is a severely endangered language, as stated in the Atlas of World Languages in Danger, and it is mainly adult-speaking language, and we think that novel approaches of its reclamation should be developed, including language policy and language rights protection, that is developing of language acts, laws, and establishment of legal setup. And I'm stating that the experience of many indigenous people on revitalization of their languages and establishment of language rights could inform other indigenous people. On the right side of my presentation, you can see the Bakhchisarai Palace. It is the unique historical monument of Crimean Tatars in Crimea in Bakhchisarai. And also there is a picture of Crimean Tatar children on beneath of this presentation. And in my presentation, I'm questioning whether the Maori language revitalization belonging to the one of the developed examples on language protection in primarily in educational language policy with its language nest programs and could be applied in the indigenous Crimean Tatar language context. Language policy aspect in protection of indigenous languages is urgent and should be studied using collaboration experience with indigenous people, scientists, politicians, and cross-border cooperation, taking the fact that only recently have several governments adopted their national language policies, and also according to the focus on the International Decade of Indigenous Languages, a special response and attention to the disappearance of indigenous endangered languages provides favorable conditions for creating new indigenous language policies. And as to the Maori language revitalization and its social linguistic situation, as you know, Maori is an Eastern Polynesian language of Austronesian family spoken by the Maori indigenous people of New Zealand. The level of its endangerment, according to the Atlas of the World Languages in Danger, is vulnerable. And it means that most children speak the language, but it may be restricted to certain domains, for example, home. And according to this atlas, the Maori language is now being revitalized and is currently functioning quite well. And the successful remedial action is being taken in the form of language nests, focusing on preschool and early primary school education in Maori. And at the right side, you can see Maori women. New data from the 2021 General Social Survey shows that the ability of New Zealanders aged 15 and over to speak Maori language in day-to-day conversation has improved. And since 2018, the proportion of people able to speak more than a few words or phrases in Maori rose from 24% to 30%. This follows a previous smaller rise between 2016 and 2018. And the proportion of people able to speak Maori language at least fairly well also increased from 6.1% in 2018 to 7.9% in 2021. And in the latest data, also almost a quarter, 23% of Maori said they spoke Maori language as one of their first languages, up from 17% in 2018. As to the history of Maori language policies, according to the Waitangi Tribunal, established in 2011, is a permanent commission of inquiry that makes recommendation on claims brought by Maori relating to Crown actions, which breach the promises made in the Treaty of Waitangi. Maori language policy can be seen as comprising three main periods: colonial tolerance, language shift, and language revitalization. The period of colonial tolerance begins in the late 18th century to mid-19th century, and it is the settling of New Zealand by British colonies, and from the late 18th century, the Maori remained the predominant language, and it was especially common for British missionaries to become English Maori bilinguals in the interest of Christianization. And the period of language shift mid-19th century to 1917, there were policies to anglicize the Maori in the interest of uniformity, modern nationhood, and control. Among measures, it is the establishment of native schools code in 1880 to eradicate the language as soon as possible and to enforce physical punishment for children who persisted in speaking Maori language, according to Albury, 2016. And by 1979, fewer than 100 children nationwide had high Maori language proficiency because of this language policy actions. And the period of language revitalization started from 1917 to today period, and in the second half of the 20th century, the revitalization of the language and establishment of the Waitangi Tribunal in 1975 to hear Maori grievances against the Crown. And as to Maori language revitalization, Maori is an official language in New Zealand, and it was proclaimed by the Maori Language Act in 1987, the first version, and it is amended also in 2016. According to this act, Maori is an official language, and using the Maori language in legal proceedings, and also, the Maori Language Commission was established in 1987. And the function of this commission is to initiate, develop, coordinate, review, advise upon, and assist in the implementation of policies, procedures, measures, and practices designed to give effect to the Maori language as an official language of New Zealand, to promote the Maori language and its use as a living language. The functions conferred on the Commission in relation to certificates of competency in the Maori language, and to consider and report to the Minister upon matters relating to the Maori language. And due to the amendments in the Act in 2016, the Act affirms the status of the Maori language as an indigenous language of New Zealand, also provides mechanism to ensure that the revitalization is Maori-led. And also the Act directs the Crown to take the responsibility for the revitalization of the Maori language. And also Maori language strategy was released in 1997, and it emphasized the language contribution to a shared New Zealand identity. The aim of the strategy is to make Maori the preferred language in certain domains, among other aims, dissemination of new vocabulary, training of teachers, editors, translators, and so on. And due to establishment of Maori Television Service Act in 2003, it was led to the launch of the first government-funded television in Maori in 2004, and it provides programs in English and Maori, and also another television appeared only in Maori language, which was launched in 2008. The success of Maori language revitalization associated with Maori medium education, that is language immersion programs, languageness immersion programs. In 1978, Richard Benton made a report according to his survey, and he was saying that there were few remaining native speakers of Maori and few children could speak the language. So it was fated to die out if drastic measures were not taken to ensure its survival. And this report raised the alarm among Maori, and a response, the period of activism gave rise to new forms of Maori immersion education at the preschool level and at primary school level. And in 1982, the first Maori immersion kindergarten has appeared from Maori medium education, and the Department of Maori Affairs promoted the foundation of the Language Nest, a Maori language preschool in which children are brought up in an environment which is Maori not only linguistically but also culturally. The first such preschool, as it was said earlier, was opened in 1982, and now there are over 700 throughout the country. And there are four main sectors focusing on Maori medium education. It is in early childhood, school, tertiary, and doctoral studies. Maori medium early childhood education, the creation of early childhood education centers known as Kohangareo Language Nest, in which mostly female elders become teachers of Maori infants speaking in their first language. A recent statistical report on Maori medium education notes that with over 60,000 Maori having attended this Language Nest program since its inception, this institution continued to play a crucial role in reviving Maori language. And also another form is Maori medium schooling. And Maori medium schooling were legally established in 1989. The original and largest type of school offering immersion in Maori language and culture across the school span from year 1 to year 13. And This program provides an education system in which primary, elementary school children are immersed in the Maori language and culture. It is goal to enable children to live as Maori and with unique Maori immersion learning environment fosters the educational growth of bilingual, bicultural children. Also, other forms Maori medium tertiary education comprises of 4 sectors: university, polytechnics, private training establishments, and Vananga. And also the last form is Maori medium doctoral graduates, doctoral program, and the first doctoral degree for a thesis written in Maori language was awarded in 2000, and in 2020 there were a total of 20 Maori medium doctoral graduates from 5 of the 8 universities in New Zealand. As well as the 8 universities, there is a 9th doctoral awarding institution. Maori has been a subject for Bachelor of Arts and other degrees in New Zealand universities for some decades. However, recent innovation at the University of Waikato, Hamilton, is a degree program in which Maori is not just a subject, but the language of tuition taught the majority of courses and subjects in the degree. Waikato also has a policy allowing the submission of assignments and examination in any subject to be written in Maori. Some magisterial or doctoral theses have been submitted in the language. As to the lessons for the Maori revitalization of the Crimean Tatar language, I would like to say that it is an official legal framework for the Crimean Tatar language. Crimean Tatar language has not any indigenous language acts like Maori Language Act. It is only in 2014 Crimean Tatars were officially recognized as indigenous people of Ukraine together with the Crimean Karaims and Krimchaks. And finally, in 2021, the law on indigenous people of Ukraine was adopted. The status of the Crimean Tatar language as one of the indigenous languages of Ukraine should be ensured in the Act. Also, there should be an official status for the Crimean Tatar language. Together with the Ukrainian language, an official status should be declared for the indigenous Crimean Tatar language. The revitalization of Crimean Tatar language should be indigenous run, and it should be written in the Indigenous Act. A system of evaluation of the level of knowledge of the language should be developed, and the foundation of the LanguageNet program should be promoted as an example of Maori revitalization. Crimean Tatar immersion preschools in which children will be brought up in an environment which is Crimean Tatar, not only linguistically, but also culturally. Crimean Tatar medium schooling program should be established during the school period, and there is also a goal that the Crimean Tatar medium doctoral program could be established in which Crimean Tatar is not just a subject, but the language of tuition for most of courses and subjects in the degree. I hope you like this presentation, and this will be helpful in further revitalization of the Crimean Tatar language. I'm asking you, could you please give your feedback whether this presentation on Maori lesson will be useful and helpful in revitalization of the Crimean Tatar language? Please click the link to answer the questions. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for the attention.